Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin, and today it's the episode of the Rock Fight I've waited 2.5 years to record. It's time for the Outdoor Town Draft. But before we get to that, are you caught up from this past week here on the Rock Fight? We've had new episodes on Monday, on Tuesday, and on Wednesday. What outdoor media company loves you more than the Rock Fight? None. That's the answer. None do. Because you also got a new episode of Open Container, the show hosted by outdoor legend Doug Schnitzspahn. So be sure you follow and rate Open Container so you never miss the best outdoor conversation podcast that has ever existed. And lastly, are you hitting the Switchback in June? If so, be sure to put the Rock Fight Live on your agenda for Tuesday, June 17th at 5 o'clock in the Trailheads Theater. I'm going to be there with producer Dave, Owen, Shawnté. If Switchback is going to be the event of the summer, this will be the event at the event. Don't miss it. All right, everybody, stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Rock Fight, Rock Fight, Rock Fight.
All right, folks, time to set the record straight. A few weeks back, listeners heard me rant on about a new sandal from Lem's Shoes. That sandal, the new Switchback sandal, was a classic single-strap, single-post style that I, without much knowledge, accused of being just like someone else. What I wasn't informed on was Lem's unique take on making footwear, and let's just say a few rocks were thrown back at me, and rightly so, because Lem's has really elevated the design of minimalist, natural movement footwear, anatomically correct, zero-drop comfort, and lightweight outdoor performance. And the Switchback? It's crafted from a single piece of material and features a unique single-strap design with one buckle for super ease of use, added comfort, and getting it on outside. You can go get yourself a pair right now at lemsshoes.com, where you'll also find that Lems is running a 20% off sale from now until May 11th. Oh, and hey, retailers, did you know that Lems is looking for wholesale partners? Hit them up at support@lemsshoes.com to add a little flavor to your shoe wall. And be sure to stop by and say hi to the Lems team at their booth at Switchback in Nashville this June. Check out the new Switchback sandal and all of Lems shoes by heading over to lemsshoes.com. Okay. Shawnté Salabert is here. You can read her book, Hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, Southern California, which you should, even if you have no intention of hiking the PCT. And Doug Schnitzspahn is here. You can hear him on the Rock Fight Podcast Network, where he hosts Open Container. Welcome, guys, to the Outdoor Town Draft.
So thrilling to be here. Yeah, nice, Doug, nice.
Like I said at the top, this is the pod I've wanted to make since I started the Rock Fight. I think the idea of a list of the best mountain towns ever has been very overdone over the years. I think I remember when Outside started doing their best town gimmick, and for a few years it felt like it was a must read when it would come out, when it would come out. But the shine wore off quickly, and they kept trying to figure out new ways to keep it fresh by including brands to work for and craft brewery options and expanding the types of towns they would include. But after a while, it just became pretty worn out. And, Outside isn't alone in this. No totally shots fired at them. A lot of people do these lists. Before we get into what we're doing today, given your backgrounds, did either of you ever work on any of those old outdoor town issues?
Nope, I cleverly avoided them.
We did do some good, we for Elevation Outdoors, we would do reader poll, best spots, best town issues, but never did the really, really hardcore listicle ones. I did do some best hikes in the world for National Geographic, but all those were pretty authentic. They weren't like chasing breweries or anything.
Yeah, I've done that for like Condé Nast, best camping around the U.S. and things that, but really aimed at like the casual user and not somebody who's going to be out there doing multi-sports every day.
Yeah, people love best of lists. That's the problem. But the best list ever was, I give John Fahey credit for this in Mountain Gazette, had the best towns to get your ass kicked in list.
See, that's a great list idea.
Colin, sorry, you have to go back and you got to think of a new topic for this. Too boring now.
Yeah, all right, we're ending it right now. We're going to start over. Do you remember what number one? What was the number one town to get your ass kicked?
I don't remember. My number one would be Espanola, New Mexico. You can, if you're not careful, just behave there. Otherwise, you will get your ass kicked. Beautiful people, beautiful town, but don't be an asshole.
Shawnté, do you remember anything from those kind of good old days? Do you remember enjoying them when they first started kind of coming out and proliferating the outdoor media scene?
No, I'm not a big listicle person. I've written a lot of listicles, unfortunately, but no, I've never. It's interesting because you can look at them, but it feels at this point sort of stale and overdone. And I'm really curious to see if we have overlap between sort of the things we've picked, between the three of us, but then if we have overlap on these lists, because I kept thinking like a town would come to mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe it's overdone. I should do something different.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not a listicle person. Anytime, sorry, Outside. I know I've written a lot for Outside. aside over the years. But man, all those like the travel issue is just like one giant listicle on paper, and it just
Yeah.
I even wrote for this year. This year's travel issue. But it's not my favorite kind of thing to read. It doesn't really do much for me. I'd rather read about ass kicking towns and things like that.
I think we all would. I remember when they started coming out. That's why I was still living in New England, kind of starting my outdoor industry career. And so the late 90s, early 2000s, I felt like people, at least on the East Coast, I really resonated with those because it was still those sort of like mythical Western towns that maybe we haven't had a chance to visit yet, right? And it's like, oh man, did you hear there's some really cool stuff in this one place? And so I remember liking I call it a gimmick, I guess, when it first kind of started, but it did start to feel pretty quickly. It was like, all right, how do we keep this fresh? And it's kind of hard to keep it fresh after a few years. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I feel like it's the same places doing the same things. And every once in a while, they're like, oh, did you hear about this town? Because it got a lot of tourism dollars.
well, to keep it from not being the same old thing, what we're doing today is something new. We're doing an outdoor town draft. We're making it competitive. We're making it about us, not about the towns. Because, like, that's really what matters here.
And
right?
about us means about Colin, just so the listener
Because I've
knows.
wanted to do this for 2.5 years.
This is your podcast dream.
I like the competition aspect. We are going to get the best list. My list is going to be better than your list.
The best thing is I don't even know if I did it right. So we're going to find out as soon as we dig into this.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And neither of you really hesitated when I said we should do this. You're like, all right, yeah, cool. So I don't feel that bad, Shawnté. Anyway, I knew Doug would be on board because he's a sports guy. So he's like, oh, we're doing a fantasy football style draft. I'm in.
And I always miss my fantasy baseball draft, which sucks because then auto draft takes the worst players you can imagine. It takes injured players. It takes, it would probably take Gary Indiana in this draft.
You know what we should do for the newsletter is have ChatGPT do an auto draft for the outdoor towns, so we can have like what would that look like?
Absolutely, it's the one time I sanction your AI use, Colin. That and the action figures.
Well, we R.I.P. Rockfight action figures, but today what we're gonna do is so we have a three player snake style draft for the uninitiated. That means we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, then 3, 2, 1, kind of around in a snake fashion as we're drafting towns. Each player will have a roster of outdoor towns that they have drafted from across the U.S. at the end of this. And this is an outdoor activity draft. Like, we don't care about how many outdoor brands or companies with cool perks are based in these towns. We may care a little bit about like the hipster coffee or the craft brewery scene, but at the end of the day, this is about the locations that provide awesome access to the outdoors. And after the draft, we'll have our individual rosters of the towns we drafted. We'll post them to places like LinkedIn and Instagram for the Rockfight listeners to weigh in on who has the best lineup of outdoor towns. Now, before we get in kind of the specific categories and even more of the rules, let's kind of set the stage here. Doug, let's start with you. What are the markers of a great outdoor town?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, first of all, access out your door is number one. Everyone wants to have great access straight out the back door is great. Whether that's just a nice park to throw the Frisbee in or whether that's mountain trails, that's good. And then number two, I think, is the community of people who are there.
Shawnté, what about for you?
I like it. Okay, so adding on to that, I agree with both of those things. But I think two other things that came to mind for me were access to at least a few kinds of outdoor activities. So not just like, oh, this is a great mountain bike town, or oh, you can ski here. But it's got to have a multitude. I do want to multi-sport here. And then the ability to recreate year-round outdoors in some capacity. So that was my other qualifier is like, all right, can I do things here in the winter if this is known as a summer place, vice versa?
And, without tipping your hand of who you guys want to draft, I don't think we should reveal who our favorites are here. Yeah, but what are you looking for in your draft picks? Is that kind of what it is mostly? It's that versatility. Is versatility kind of the key metric here?
Yeah, I did. I went for versatility. I also looked in some places like, are there opportunities to have access to public transportation that gets you outside? Does it have a good outdoor shop in some regard that's not a big chain store? And can you find things within like a 3-hour, 2-hour drive window that would add on to like just bonus cherry on top stuff?
What about for you, Doug?
Boy, Shawnté did better research than me. I just thought about places I would love to live or spend some time myself. So
Doug's personal fantasy draft of places to live.
I think building on community, though, also a very, community that's going to advocate for their national parks and for public lands and all that's pretty important too.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I kind of making light of it, but you two are the perfect part of the rock fight team to join in this along with me. We've lived kind of the three of us between the coasts. We've lived on the East Coast, we've lived on the West Coast, and kind of places in between. We've seen a lot of places. We traveled around to a lot of different spots. I was like, our pal Justin Hausman, like, he'd be great if this was like a Northern California draft, but like, I don't know if he'd be able to like
best breaks in NorCal. Justin
do you guys think
I've
the
got
voting audience?
I've got a NorCal town on my board here.
Oh, intriguing.
Right.
Reading. It's Reading, isn't it?
Do you think the voting audience is going to value the diversity or the variety? Or do you think they'll be looking for the standard, like, 16 different Colorado towns that most people would list?
I don't
Shots
know.
fired at Colorado.
I feel like people are, right. I feel like people are hoping that we won't do that. That they're like, all right, we know the rock fight well enough at this point. We know this crew. Let's see if they throw us some curveballs. So I'm hoping, I think I have at least one, if not two curveballs in there. So I'm curious to see what you guys come up with.
Doug, is there a consensus number one town without revealing what you might think it'd be? But do you think there's one? It's like, yeah, like this is going to be the number one off the board.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty predictable in what my number one town is going to be.
Is it the town you live in?
It is not.
No spoilers.
It is not. It is not the town I live in.
Okay, good. I thought that's where you're going with that.
It's the town I live in is closed, yes.
Okay, so here are the regions we're drafting for. We're each going to make 8 picks, okay? So we have the Northwest, the Southwest, Mountain region, Upper Midwest, and then South Central Midwest. South Central Midwest being defined as Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. We did that specifically to kind of break up the Midwest. Otherwise, it's a lot of states. The Southeast, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic in one region, and then I threw in a wild card. And the wild card can be a town from any region, as long as it's in the United States. By the way, the Northwest, that includes Alaska, and I threw Hawaii in with the Southwest just because it's,
Hawaii's in the
West
Southwest.
California. So it's kind of like, all right, we're just going to lump you in with the Southwest. The size of the town and specific locations don't matter. I think big cities should be considered as much as iconic mountain locations, and variety and diversity, like we said, is encouraged. Towns, kind of to Shawnthé's point, towns that qualify need to have notable access within 2 hours or 3 or more of the following outdoor activities. There's no like one trick pony towns on these lists, and no road sports either. If you're known for road sports, it's like, that's not what this is about. This is about dirt stuff. So snow sports, trails, paddling, mountain biking or gravel riding, climbing, paragliding, fly fishing, peak bagging, all those types of activities are the ones that we're looking for notable access to in our towns. And then with each draft pick, the drafting player, you'll talk about why you're choosing that location, what makes that a great outdoor town. And if you have some details, like maybe some local knowledge or what you understand to be local knowledge on the town, maybe offer it at that time as well. Any questions on the rules?
My only question is, it's a process question, Colin, because I've never done even a fantasy draft pick before. So this is my first time doing this. So are you going to say, all right, Shawnté gets the first draft pick, and am I picking a region? Or you're like, we're starting with the Northwest and you're the person who gets to go first?
Good question.
So good question. I have a little spinner with our names on it. I'm going to spin it, and that will determine the draft order. We'll do it twice, go for the first and second pick. And then whoever has first pick, you fill in where you want to go.
Anywhere. Oh my goodness.
You take your first pick. I would encourage you to take one that would probably be competitive. Right?
Okay.
So I think the first pick matters here. I do think it matters if you have the first pick. I have a strategy if I get the first pick.
We do need to fill in all the regions, right?
Yes. I'll write our names in across that little table that's in the outline, and I'll be tracking them as you guys pick them. I'll pop it in there.
Okay,
so
we'll be able to see
then we'll
that,
have our rosters at the end.
So it kind of is like a baseball draft where you're going to have to fill every position. How many rounds are we doing? Do we have rounds or?
I will go until everybody picks a region.
Okay, great.
All right, so let's spin to see who has the first pick. You guys ready? I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Oh, I like that clicking sound. It's very satisfying.
With the first pick in the 2025 Outdoor Town Draft, Shawnté Salabert will be picking first.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Just to make sure you see it.
Oh, I see it, and I love it. You even got my accent.
It was rigged. It was like the Dallas Mavericks. It was rigged.
I know, right?
The commissioner rigged it.
That's beautiful.
I can't believe that happened, by the way. Are you kidding me?
Oh, this is great because I'm probably also just going to biff it so hard. But I was looking, and I feel like that the thing here is I need to try to get ahead of you guys, right? Like we're entering the competition zone.
And trash talking is encouraged, by the way.
Oh, awesome. I'm warming up. I'm ready for it. I guess
wait,
whoa.
We got to get second pick.
She's
all excited.
See, I already don't understand.
All right, the second pick in the draft It's me. I got the second pick.
Boo. Boring.
All right.
I'll take
Kinda
3 and
bummed about
4. That's good. I can
Yeah, I'm
stack
kind of
up
bummed.
on
I wanted
Yeah.
first or third. All
Ooh,
right,
that
so
does mean you
Shawnté's
get
first.
2 in a row.
I got 3 and 4. That's all right. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take it.
All right.
Doug and Colin. All right. Shawnté, you're on the clock.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to start with South Central.
Whoa.
Damn it. I knew this was your.
Ooh.
I'm so mad right
Jesus.
now. I know what you're going to take.
Oh,
And I
what's
did this
going?
specifically because I knew Colin would be
Yeah,
mad
that's
if I
good
chose it
strategy.
first.
That's good
Yeah,
strategy.
all right. Well, we'll see if I picked what you would have picked. I kind of wavered between 2 specific towns, but they're in the same area. So I think you know exactly where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I am going to go with Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you would see. I was like Fayetteville, Bentonville, Fayetteville,
Yeah.
Bentonville. So I'm sure one of the others is going to come up. But
Misspelled
I'm
it.
going to go with Fayetteville mostly because I've been there and I loved it. And I immediately, it's very rare that I go to a place and immediately feel like I could live there. And that's exactly how I felt. And I'm not even a mountain biker. Mountain biking, obviously huge in Northwest Arkansas, and they've just done so much development. Funny enough, the Waltons of Walmart fame have been one of the big drivers of that, which is fascinating to me.
Good night,
I don't know
John
if-
Boy.
Yeah, hi-yo. But so you've got the Ozarks, and then you're at that little quad intersection of, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, you got it all. For me, I think about also, mountain biking is the thing that people really do. There's hundreds of miles of trail up there. You got the Ozark Highlands Trail, which has been on my personal bucket list for a while, and they're working on connecting the Ozark Trail, which is up in Missouri, to that. So you already got a couple hundred miles there. Then it's just going to become huge. You've got tons of rivers, including the Buffalo National River, which is, I think it was the first national scenic river. Great paddling. You've got waterfall hunting down there. You got tons of state parks, Ozark National Forest. Great access to local crags. It's not like a massive climbing area as there would be in other parts of the country, but you've got it there.
Mhm.
And I do think the outdoor culture in town is great. Pack Rat Outdoor Center is probably one of my favorite outdoor shops in the
It's
country.
a good one.
Hands down. It looks like if you've never been there, which probably most listeners haven't, it's just this giant wooden cabin, just stuffed to the brim, tons of stuff for paddle sports, tons of stuff for, hiking, camping, everything. I also wanted to live inside the Pack Rat Outdoor Center. So I think specifically, I was like, I shall move to Fayetteville and live inside Pack Rat. But that is my number one draft pick.
Good call. Good call.
Thank you.
Doug, any thoughts on Fayetteville? I've never been to Fayetteville.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. Yeah, we were all honing in on there. I think that region might have some more juice in it as well. For some future picks, we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
But I think that no, I love the way that the whole region has really embraced outdoor recreation. It really values outdoor recreation, understands what kind of culture and community and economy you can build around it. So
Yeah.
really good first pick. Really good first pick.
Yes. So far, success. It's probably all downhill from here for me, but we'll see.
Well, for my first pick in this round, I'm not going to waste the opportunity here. I'm going to go with, I think, which is the other big pick in that area. I'm going to go with Bentonville, Arkansas.
Nice. Sorry, Doug.
Yeah, that was my pick. Yeah.
I definitely thought, just kind of Bentonville and Fayetteville, I think they kind of echo a lot of the same things. Bentonville, I did have a moment where I did it. I've not been to Bentonville either, but I was just searching around. I'm like, are they a bit of a one-trick pony? Because they're so well known for mountain biking. But then if you peel back the onion a little bit, you see just the access and how much is there and the other things you can do. And Doug, to your point, it's so cool for the sort of, the flyover country of the US, of the middle of the country. And you start to, when you really doesn't take much to look at it, you find a lot of really neat and interesting places in much of the Midwest. And I can't wait to talk about the upper Midwest too. And there's just so much stuff happening there that is great if you're an outdoor enthusiast. So yeah, I'll take Bentonville, Arkansas with my number one draft pick. Over to you, Doug. What do you got? You got 2, so you get 2
Well,
picks.
that's great. Well, you guys just dumped my South Central pick to the bottom of the draft now. No one's drafting a catcher or something. Well, I am going to scoop you guys on the Mountain West, and I am going to take what I believe is the number one pick in the whole draft. I'm going to go with Jackson, Wyoming as my number one pick of outdoor towns. I don't think anybody else beats Jackson for the Tetons. You've got the best skiing in North America there, you've got incredible backcountry skiing. You've got backcountry ski mountaineering. You've got mountaineering, climbing. You have 2 national parks right there. You have a wildlife refuge, incredible fly fishing, very underrated mountain biking. There's some great mountain biking right in Jackson.
Yeah, there is actually.
Yeah, my buddy Chris Denny took me on a great lot ride there once. I am not sure if all of it was legal, but it was quite good.
Poaching in Jackson.
It was not legal in the fact that they were all trails we were allowed to ride on. I just think we might have ran across some private land at some point. Not that I would ever encourage that. I think it was a mistake.
We're outing you here on this podcast.
They're coming. The authorities are coming for you, Doug.
I am gonna. Yeah,
game over.
This is your last stand.
This is the guy we've been looking for 15 years.
I can't do anything.
They
I
put
walked
on a
right
trail
into
cam.
that, didn't I? I am the worst person in America. I've been told that before about my comments on things. No, and I also think what a community you have in Jackson. So many people, despite how expensive it can be, how touristy it can be, you still have the real deal. You still have people who are getting out there and living an authentic outdoor life, which I think is just amazing. All seasons, all time of year, number one.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do kind of a quote unquote kind of like a chalk pick of like kind of the big outdoor towns that people think about when they think about outdoor towns, Jackson is the one to make, right? I mean, it's just think about how the iconic things you can do in Jackson. I mean, if you want to, like, climbing the Grand is on how many people's lists. If even if you're not much of a climber, it might be like, I'd like to climb the Grand one day, right? And it just that view of the range. The town, everything. Yeah, totally good. That's a good pick.
And we're not going to ruin it. It's not like we can ruin Jackson anymore either. That's the other thing, right? We're not going to usually think about these lists. It's like it's ruined. Like, don't tell anybody to go there. Like, it's ruined already. It's not getting wrecked by this list.
Shawnté, do you have any Jackson thoughts?
I mean, I've been there. I liked it. It just felt, the town itself is way too bougie for me. I had some good coffee there, but it was just a jumping off point to get to other places. I actually loved the other side of the Tetons, like Driggs and Victor, Idaho. Tiny towns, but just much more chill place to live. You still have the access, although when the pass gets snowed in, I guess you can't get into the other side of the mountains. But yeah, I much preferred the vibe on the other side. But yeah, the access over there is great. I did a big loop in that area going up to, ended up in Yellowstone, came back down through Montana. Great country up there.
Yeah, good pick. Shawnté? Oh, no, sorry, Doug, your second pick.
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
sorry.
Are we now in the second round,
baby.
Colin?
Snake draft,
We're
baby.
now in the second round. And
Second round, so.
And then back to me. So I'm jumping. I even skipped myself there for a second.
Boy, the second round. Now this is a tough one. Where can I snake you guys?
I got to pull up my list.
For the second round, I am going to pick I'm going to go for the Southwest because I want to pick one of my personal favorite places. I am going to take Taos, New Mexico.
Oh,
good pick.
I wasn't expecting that. I like that surprise.
It is an easy pick for me. I spend a lot of time down there. I love the place. I feel like the more time you spend there, the more you get to love it. The skiing is off the hook when it gets to the snow, obviously. You've got, rafting that's great. You've got really good fly fishing in the area that people don't realize as much. The hiking's incredible. You've got the Rio Grande del Norte National Monument, not far away in Cuesta, which is a great place for camping and fishing and chilling out. You've got incredible mountain biking. The mountain bike ride down from the South Boundary Trail from Angel Fire, New Mexico, down to Taos is one of the best rides you can ever do. And beyond that, what I love about it is, even though it's this incredible outdoor town with every sport there, it's also not an outdoor town. It's an art town. And it is an indigenous town. It is older than our country, with the indigenous people who've lived there for so long, as well as the Spanish-speaking population. In fact, I read in the New York Times, northern New Mexico has its own dialect of Spanish that's slowly dying. And to top it all off, the food is some of my favorite in the whole world.
Oh, yeah, I can get behind that for sure. Now I'm like got a vision of a burrito in my head. While you were talking, I started just thinking about chilies. So.
Mole sauce.
You get the green
Christmas.
chili croissant from Michael's Bakery is one of my. We'll
we're
just
going that
stop
deep here.
just for that. Yeah.
Oh no, we do have to go that deep here. I can't even have gluten, so I shouldn't be thinking about this, but I'm going to be thinking about this. Thanks, Doug.
There's no gluten in a croissant.
My
Come
stomach
on.
hurts.
There's no gluten in a croissant.
Thank you. Well, Doug said, as I munched over later in the day, but Doug said.
All right, for my second pick, this is definitely my kind of chalkiest pick, and I'm
sorry,
gonna go.
Your whattiest pick was that chonkiest?
Chalkiest. It's like chalk is like like just like it's the typical like more basic typical like what everybody might expect you to say. So I'm going for my mountain region, and I'm doing Moab, Utah.
Basic.
For my money, Moab is the best mountain town in the world. I think it's better than anything in Europe because you know what the Alps don't have? They don't have red rock. Okay. They don't have arches. They don't have those incredible vistas. Oh, and but you know what else they have? It's kind of like being at the Grand Canyon, but you know what else is in Moab? 13,000-foot snow-capped LaSalle Mountain Range right behind it.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, like, hey, if you're going to go to the Grand Canyon, make sure you go in the Grand Canyon. If you're going to drive all the way up there and just go like, look at it, just go to Moab. Because not only do you get kind of a similar red rock, it's not the same, but you're going to have an up-close red rock experience with a much better view. Oh, and by the way, you know what else is great? The town fucking rules too. I love Moab.
The best gluten-free pizza I've ever had is at a place in Moab.
Come on.
No joke. Yep.
And again, back to kind of saying like the iconic things you can do there, the mountain biking you get to do there, just the trails that are there, the national parks and the proximity to that whole area. Yeah, I mean, you can obviously make a case for a lot of other things like, Doug waxing poetic about Taos and everything, but like I just love Moab. That place imprinted on me the first time I went there. And it is absolutely just one of my favorite, most special places in the world. So that's what I'm going with.
You didn't even mention the river. I mean, the river there is great too. Wow.
See?
Colin.
You can do rafting. I got hypothermia in that river once. This is great.
How? What were you doing?
You know what I was doing?
Drowning?
I was doing an adventure race.
This does not inspire confidence for the future Rock Fight adventure race team.
The sun was out in the morning, and we're like, we went light, and then the sun went away, and we had a much longer paddle than we anticipated with much rougher water, and we got very, very wet, and I got very, very cold.
Oh boy.
Moab, that's my second pick.
All right. Well, it's a good pick. I mean, I love Moab, so I cannot complain. I usually go at least once a year. It's I almost broke my entire body there once mountain biking before I knew how to mountain bike over rocks. Yeah. So,
I mean, are you an outdoorsy person until you have something bad happen to me in Moab story? Like it's kind of a requirement.
Fair. I feel like I really achieved something when I did that. So,
all right, Shawnté, you have two picks.
Ooh, the power. Doug, did you feel this when it was your turn?
It's awesome. It's awesome because now
I'm kind of bummed I got second.
You can take second kind of sucks, Colin.
It does. You don't get any back-to-backs, Colin, but we do. All right. Well, I am going to start with the home range for me, which is the upper Midwest. And I had a little battle royale in my head when I was thinking about the two places, and judging from Colin's face, I think I'm going to pick his place. I just assume I'm going to pick his place. So I thought about picking a place in which I lived for a point of time and I loved and I almost stayed in, but I didn't. I went with a place that I think that if I was moving back to the Midwest, I would move here, which is Duluth, Minnesota.
Fucking hell. Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it. God damn it. I should have taken that last round. Neither knew we were going to take Moab.
Oh, wow. I feel so good right now. Okay. Duluth is a great town. First of all, let's just knock it right out of the bat. It's right on Lake Superior. So you've got Apostle Islands National Lakeshore right up there, Isle Royale National Park just a little further north. You've got, for me, one of the big draws is the 300-mile Superior Hiking Trail, whose acronym is SHT, which might be the worst or best trail acronym I've ever seen, because every single time I see it somewhere, I just think, shit. But it starts just outside of town. Like you just start just like southwest of Duluth. You've got ice climbing in town. You've got bouldering in town, skiing just outside of town, downhill and cross country. You got tons of single track for mountain biking, which including the Duluth Traverse, which goes right through town. The St. Louis River Estuary National Water Trail right through town. Yeah. It's like as far as out your back door, what Doug was talking about. in the upper Midwest, like this is where it's at. You've got waterfalls nearby, all sorts of stuff. You could do all sorts of great snow sports in the winter. Great place to be in the summer. I can't. My hometown pick, I just couldn't do it. I was like, I got to go Duluth. Sorry, Colin, not sorry.
And by the way, some of those, like, it's just the coolest place. I mean, like, some of those cross-country ski trails, they're lit up in the wintertime. Like, there's like lights strung up. And that tip of, and I know you can go to a lot of cool places on Lake Superior, but there's just something about you feel like, are you in Nazare? Like, where are you? I mean, it's just something with the cliffs kind of coming out of the water. It's just, I love Duluth. You're absolutely right. If you're like, hey, go live in the Midwest, I'm like, I will happily live in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah, gorgeous up there. I mean, just the lakeshore alone is so beautiful. So, yeah.
Doug, any Duluth thoughts?
I was going to pick it too, so we're all. Wow,
you and I are Duluth getting some love.
You and I
For
are
someone who's never done a draft before, I think I'm doing all right.
No, you're doing all right. You're not taking the power hitters. You're not getting the big stats, but you're filling in at the hard to fill in positions.
Wait, who's getting the power hitters here? Is it Colin for choosing Moab and you for choosing Jackson?
We got the big stats. Guys, yeah.
Boring.
That's good. You got to have
the places everybody already knows.
Have a couple of the classics on there.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, we need to appease the listeners.
Oh
I have some weird ones. I have a couple weird ones coming up. Don't worry.
I got stuck with some weird ones.
Especially now that you took Duluth. I definitely.
Now you got to really dig in there. Dig deep.
All right, what's your second one in the turn here?
Oh, the thrill of another turn. All right, well, I am going to now venture over to the Northwest. And I'm actually going to choose. I thought about this real hard. I thought about places I've been. I thought about things I've done while I've been in those places and which place felt like it gave me the most access easily. Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
The city itself, you could just start right in the city. My very first impression of Portland, the first time I went many years ago, was the Willamette River. You've got parkland right on it. I remember doing urban hiking in that city and just loving it. You've got Forest Park there, which is this like 5,000 plus acre city park that's bonkers. I don't know if you guys have ever been in it, but it's just gorgeous. Lives up to the name. Mount Tabor right in town, where you can kind of hike up this swirly trail and get a good view right in town. And then, of course, you got to think about, you got the Columbia River Gorge. I've been whitewater rafting on the White Salmon over there. Gifford-Pinchot National Forest is just north. That is, like, if you think everything in the gorge is run over, go up to the Gifford-Pinchot. You got fishing up there. You've got plenty of hiking, backpacking, everything, mountain biking, whatnot. Mount Hood is an hour away. The coast is an hour and a half away. People do surf the Oregon coast. You know, there's like hardy people. Maybe Hausman would be into that. You can rock climb. Yeah, there's everything. It's just, to me, Portland. And then I've taken public transportation from the airport in Portland all the way into the gorge. So there's ways to get outside here that you don't even need a car for. So I am all in. I love going to Portland. I go there a ton. Plus the food scene in that city has been and is unbeatable. It's so great for a city that size, or any city, really.
Did you guys hear that? I was producer Dave cheering in the background from Portland.
With his fit socks, yeah. He's dancing in his smiley face socks.
Portland kicks ass. Plus, it's Portland. Portlandia.
Yes.
You
can put a bird on it.
Yeah, you can.
You can pickle that too.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, just had a great trip there recently too, and really appreciated. Yeah, went to an incredible vegan Vietnamese place, and we went hiking right near Tyron Creek State Natural Area, right there near Lake Oswego, and it was absolutely beautiful, right in town. Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to not think of Cascadia in general if you were going to rate the regions and just say, like, how could you not go number one overall draft pick? I mean, there's just the Northwest is incredible. It really is. And so scenic and beautiful. Which is why for my third pick, I will stay in the Northwest. And build on and a little bit of what you said, but I think I'd still like my pick a little bit more. I'm going with Hood River, Oregon.
Yeah, good one.
Right?
Not mad at that.
Because it's a classic. It's like being in a classic mountain town, like, some of the more iconic ones. Only you have oxygen because it's at a lower elevation. Access, you mentioned Hood, but also St. Helens, Adams, all, central. Basically, you're central to all of Cascadia when you're in that area. Easy access to a major city in Portland and PDX. But you got mountain biking. There's multiple types of paddling. You get skiing, alpinism, and it doesn't, and you mentioned it from there. It's a little far for our rules, but it's 2.5 hours to Cannon Beach. But you can do it in a day. And like I said, just the natural beauty of the Northwest and the Columbia River Gorge in general is just stunning. So, you said most of it with Portland, but I think but Hood River would be my choice. Hood River is definitely a place where it'd be like, you could just settle in that little spot and be quite happy.
It's a good spot. When I took the public transportation from the airport, I took it to Hood River, and I was there for a wedding, which was fantastic. And the morning of the wedding is when we when we went whitewater rafting. Yeah, absolutely great place.
wedding.
I know. Oh, it was bitching. But yeah, I did some trail running like when I was out there. It was so nice just being along the river. Yeah, good choice.
Yeah.
Not mad.
Yeah. All right, Doug, you got 2.
You are in the worst part of this human centipede, aren't you? You could just get
I am in the worst part of the human centipede.
you get it from both ends.
Another podcast where a poo reference came up with Shawnté on it. So
that's my requirements for staying in the Rock Fight Network.
I don't think-
It's written into my rider.
anytime I'm on a podcast.
Yeah.
I am going to have to hop in the Northeast here before you guys take this. And I'm going to go with North Conway, New Hampshire.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Pox
Is that
at your
yours too,
house.
Shawnté?
That was my pick too.
Had to get that out from under you. Yeah. No, I mean, a great place. I went to school at Boston University, lived in Boston for a while, and it was the place we would head all the time. Unpopular opinion, I went to New Hampshire a lot more than Vermont, partly because Colin
New
doesn't think
Hampshire
that's
rules.
I'm a big New Hampshire fan. I really love
Hell
New
yeah.
Hampshire. Love the mountains. Love the
Live free or die.
love the whites. Love Mount Washington. I've hiked it, several different ways. I love the hut system. The AMC hut system is just incredible. The traditions they have, the people who work there, stealing things from each other. You can hike into the Alpine, which you can't do anywhere else in the Northeast. There's skiing. There's incredible cross-country skiing. I've gone on some great backpacking trips. You can find wilderness in surprising spots off the grid. Mountain biking, not too far away. I think just about everything you want in North Conway, New Hampshire.
Yep. That was I would have had to have gone if I had the opportunity, just because New Hampshire means too much to my own personal history, and I love it so much. And North Conway plays a big role in that. But you did leave out probably the most hardcore activity that you can do, especially around North Conway, one time a year, and that is leaf peeping.
Oh yeah, leaf peeping.
So intense.
Everyone likes to peep.
Shawnté, any North Conway thoughts?
Do I like to peep? What are you asking me? I love to peep.
Do you?
It's true. Yeah, I feel real
You're a
aggressive
peeper.
about it.
You're
I grew up in the
hardcore
Midwest.
peeper.
That's what you do.
Doug, did North Conway? That was going to be your choice too?
That was my pick too. I mean, I have a backup in there, and it's going to be a bit of a curveball backup. But I was running through I'm thinking about all the places. I used to live in New York, so I'm familiar with that part of the country. And I can't, for me, North Conway is about having that. It's another place I've thought about. If I moved, I live in LA now, Pasadena. If I moved east, somewhere over there, you do get those mountain views, you get the mountain town vibe, you get the classic hiking Appalachian Trail right there. Some of the wildest weather in the country, of course, in the whites. So yeah, that was absolutely on my list. I'm good job, Doug. Good job scooping us.
Yeah, man, this is rough.
And I get another pick here, don't I?
Yeah, you get another one.
Now I'm scared.
All right, I'm going to go for the Southeast, but I'm going to spare you guys from the super obvious pick, and I am going to take Damascus, Virginia.
Ooh, that wasn't even on my board, but that's a great pick.
Good pick.
Yeah. I'm going to take Damascus to give us a little variation. I think that, Damascus is going to have a good season this year. I think the stats are going to come up a bit. No, I think what I love about Damascus is its placement right along the Appalachian Trail. I mean, it's not a one-trick town, but maybe more so than some of the places we're picking. But it's such an integral part of outdoor culture, with trail days, with how many hikers and thru hikers on the AT who come through there, and how much the town embraces them. So that is my pick for Damascus. I also thought I'd go easy for you guys on the obvious Southeast pick. So
there's actually, I think the Southeast is pretty
There's a
loaded.
lot
There's
of-
a
there's a
couple,
lot-
you're
there's a
right,
lot of
that are
good
like,
I thought hard
yeah.
before making my pick there.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, though. I did consider Damascus just for trail days and Appalachian and everything, but thank you for not picking my pick.
I know, that would have been like third in a row. Like, oh my God, I'm just getting decimated here.
wait, can I just say that I just looked on my computer and a window is open that says outdoor activities in Ely, Minnesota.
Oh. Are
Where's
you
Eli?
scrambling because of Duluth?
Yeah.
That threw me off on
There's
yes.
the loss of Duluth.
Yes. We got
All
the
right.
researchers. The interns are looking for a new pick now.
Okay, so I have 5 spots left. I think I feel pretty good about the choices I want to have in all of them. So this is going to be my weird one, which I've been to this town once,
Wait,
just to
it's
drive
you?
through.
Oh, it
What's
is
that?
you. That's right, because you're pickle in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I
Yes,
forgot.
pickle
I
in the
forgot you get your
middle.
one paltry choice.
Is that a
before
T-shirt
I
we're gonna
get
make? Pickle,
2 choices.
the rock fight draft, pickle in the middle.
Gonna make you a T-shirt.
But I wanted to do something, especially since Duluth's off the board, and I had a couple of other ones that were obvious, and we'll do some honorable mentions too, because there's gonna be plenty of towns that probably we don't get a chance to mention. We want to make sure we definitely reference them because there's just too many good ones. But I'm gonna put Des Moines, Iowa, on my list,
Ooh. Okay.
and yeah, it's actually a sneaky good outdoor town. Number one, you have a lot of paddle sports. You're right on the river. There's a huge gravel scene. There's mountain biking. You're not that far from some climbing areas, a little outside the 2-hour window that we set in the front, but it does exist in that area, some bouldering areas and things like that. And it's got a great town. And I just felt like, I wanted, once I couldn't have Duluth, I'm like, I could go with a couple more obvious ones. Doug hasn't drafted that one yet, so I don't want to mention anybody else, give him any ideas. But I just wanted to figure this is like, let's give some love to the Iowas, the
Aw.
Nebraskas, the Kansases here. Like there's good stuff to do in all of those states, and I wanted to make sure that we represented them here on the pod today. So Des Moines, you're in. You're on the team.
Wow, Quad Cities represent. That's so nice of you. Very
Wow,
thoughtful.
did you hear that, Des Moines? Shawnté thinks you're shit. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that tone?
What? This feels a lot like you throwing me under the bus with Owen.
No, this
and
is
the
way
adventure
worse.
team. This is way worse because now I'm gonna have an entire state coming
That's
after
right.
me. Thanks, Colin.
Iowa versus
I
Shawnté.
like Iowa. Actually, I've been to Iowa many times. I went to college in Madison, and my best friend went to college in Carbondale, so Southern Illinois. We spent an inordinate amount, and she went to she went to Coe College in Iowa. She went to grad school in Carbondale. Anyway, spent a lot of time in Iowa. Quite pretty there.
Today's episode of The Rock Fight is presented by Oboes, who wants to share their love of hiking, and we want to help them by uncovering all the different reasons we love to take the long walk. And right now, we're going to count 5 of the ways that we love hiking. Number 1, you can go solo or bring a crew. Both come with their own drama, so tread lightly. Number 2, no 2 trails are exactly the same, but your legs won't care by mile 6. Number 3, you get to earn your hot chocolate, your beer, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Guilt-free carbs, baby. Number 4, hey, hiking builds confidence, especially after you dominate that quote-unquote moderate trail that tried to kill you. And number 5, for every hike completed over a mile long during the month of April, Oboes will plant a tree as part of its Trails for Trees challenge. For each hike completed, participants will also receive chances to win weekly prizes from Oboes and challenge partners. Registration is free and still open right now at trailsfortrees.com. This hiking appreciation moment is brought to you by Oboes of Bozeman, Montana, maker of the Katabatic collection that includes the Katabatic LT and the Katabatic Wind. Check out the full Katabatic footwear collection at obosfootwear.com today. Oboes, love hiking. All right, Shawnté, 2 picks.
All right, so it's me.
You can't have Des Moines, so just letting you know.
Damn it.
Oh, that
Curses.
stakes you. That was a tough one.
All right. For my first here, I am going to travel over to the Southwest. I think Colin already knows what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say something that every time when I first started going to OR and I had my name tag on, people would give me so much shit. And it's Los Angeles. It's where I've lived for the last, 17 years. And people constantly at OR, this big outdoor retailer, everybody's like, I live in Bend, I live in Jackson, I live in Moab. Why would you live in LA if you like the outdoors? Well, let me tell you. First of all, we have a climate where you could be outside year round. You can literally ski and snow in the same day if that's your vibe, or ski and snow. You can ski in snow and surf in water.
I hope you can ski and snow in the same day. That would be weird.
I literally wrote down in my notes, you can absolutely ski and snow in the same day. I don't know what your magical powers of weathering are, but you could ski and surf in the same day for sure. So a little dawn patrol, then hit the slopes. We've got massive outdoor communities here. Trail running is a huge thing here. I did my first trail races. We're all here in Southern California with stupid amounts of elevation gain because Shawnté did not look at the the course before signing up. We've got mountain biking. You got paddle sports. Of course, we have the Pacific Ocean right there. You've got the the desert nearby. You've got the Transverse Ranges. That's the Santa Monica Mountains, the San Gabriel Mountains. The PCT runs just north of town. You can ski at Mount Baldy, Mountain High, so smaller resorts, but you can get out there and do snow sports. You've got bouldering. Stony Point is where the Stone Masters cut their teeth before getting up to Yosemite and doing all that groundbreaking stuff back in the day. So this, kind of crappy little park in Chatsworth where the rocks are covered in graffiti, but that's where I learned how to set up anchors and do all of that stuff. You've got Joshua Tree 2 hours east, Channel Islands, just over off of Ventura, Oxnard area. There's even more if you're willing to put a couple hours into the car, tons of national parks. But LA, I'm outside every single day in LA. I hike, I trail, run, I do so many things here. I really feel like it doesn't get enough love for being the outdoor town that it actually is.
Well said.
And I'm sticking to it. Fight me. Send your emails to myrockfight.com and direct them all at Colin because I don't want to read your BS if you don't like it.
And you have a hell of and the best music scene.
We have a great music scene.
Incredible.
Yeah, music. We got,
music,
don't mess with our Mexican food. We got it going on. The arts and culture scene here is bonkers. It's a great place to live. I'm in Pasadena now, but I lived in LA itself for 15 years and it was a wonderful time.
I know this is a competitive event we're having here today, but having New Mexico and Southern California represented on this list means that we're eating well. So
that's right.
And Portland.
And Portland.
Yeah. Yay.
Plus, we're highly caffeinated then.
You got one more, kid. What's your second pick?
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so, all right, there's two different places I could go with this. I'm going to go back down to the southeast. So I thought about what I think we're all thinking is the obvious answer here, and I decided not to do that town, and I'm going to Chattanooga, Tennessee instead. For me, urban nature is a big deal, and here's a great town for it. So it's less a mountain town than it is a city that has the outdoor access, right? But you've got, it's surrounded by state parks, national forests. You got the Tennessee flowing right through downtown. Stand-up paddleboarding is huge, but you could go right outside of town, not very far, and you get white water. So if you're into rafting and things, kayaking, bonkers rock climbing in the area. You've got these great sandstone cliffs. And then you can head down to less than 2 hours from town, go down to Horse Pens 40, one of the biggest, most world-class bouldering areas, most world-class in the world. So you got that nearby. Mountain bike scene. They've been putting in a lot of work to build single track around town. You got local peaks. If you're a peak bagger, Lookout Mountain, Raccoon Mountain, popular, go after work or whatever, hang out. Tons of caving in the area. We haven't really talked about caving, but that's a big deal in that part of the country. So I feel like Chattanooga, Asheville gets all the shine, but Chattanooga is also just put in the real grit work in making it, making a really good outdoor town and really investing in the town, I think. So I'm going to give a little love to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Love Chattanooga. Spent a bunch of my
nice pick. Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, best man at my wedding lives there. When I was looking for Polar Tech, they had a mill nearby, so we would go down there quite a bit. And I spent a lot of time in Tennessee, regardless. But yeah, good pick.
Also, paddling culture and community.
Oh, Southeast paddling is big deal. Well, speaking of the Southeast, let's stay in the Southeast. And so this will be the last Southeast pick, right? Did we have any other?
You going to do it?
This is the first time we're closing it out.
You going to do it?
Well, we're going to talk about a town that's close to the Smoky Mountains. Town where you can paddle, you can bike, you can rock climb. It's all sorts of things. But we are not, I'm sorry, friends at Darby, talking about Asheville, North Carolina. We are talking about Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Boone.
So Asheville becomes the Shadur Sanders of our draft.
Better luck next year, Asheville.
Asheville's just sitting there waiting for the call. Someone from Darby just pranked them.
I think Knoxville is the better town to visit the Smokies. Yes, you have the beautiful drive in Asheville that it's known
Dollywood,
for, but
it's
like, are you really that cool if you're known for your drive to the national park? Like, come on, let's get to the national park and let's get outside, which is what you can do better on the Knoxville side of things. Also, let's talk about some other things that are nearby in Knoxville. You ever been to Panther Creek State Park, the Cherokee Reservoir? Holy shit, is that place awesome. Nearby, you got Fall Creek Falls, huge waterfall. My first adventure race, Shawnté. I did it. We had a free rappel off of the falls that the rope ended about 10 feet above the water. And you just had to let go and fall into this deep pool of water. It was incredible. Nice. So I have always been a Knoxville person because they also have my favorite specialty shop of all time, which is shout out to Ed McAllister and River Sports, an incredible store. Again, the Southeast is probably the region that They have the best specialty accounts. They have so much diversity.
Oh, totally.
And is so easy. I mean, even the Northeast, I feels like it gets overlooked quite a bit as well. But the Southeast, by the sort of, the institution here in the West, probably looks down their nose a bit at the Southeast. And I think the Southeast is dope as shit. So I am happy to throw Knoxville, Tennessee onto my team.
All right, not too shabby. I'll go with that. I love it.
Doug, you got 2?
I've got 2. Fantastic. What regions are we looking at here? We got all the good regions. I'm going to go with one that I know is going to surprise you guys for the Northwest. It is, I went to grad school in Seattle, so I spent a lot of time in the Cascades. I'm going to go with, let's see if you can even spell this, Colin. Clay Elum, Washington.
Clay
He's got it.
Elum.
Clay Elum, Washington.
That's niche.
Yeah. It's on I-90. It's not that far from Seattle. It is on the eastern side of the Cascades, a little drier. There is fantastic mountain biking there. There's incredible access to wilderness, to backpacking. There's great hiking, backcountry skiing. It's a little town on the dry side of the Cascades that does not get as much love as I think it should. And I've had many a great adventure there when I lived in Seattle.
It's an awesome spot. Yeah. I lived in Washington for 6 years. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's why.
All right. So you can spell it. All right. And I've got another pick. Here between South Central and Upper Midwest. Let me look. Let's confer and see what we got on the draft board here.
Just take Austin.
No, I am
Hill
not.
country.
Okay. You want me to go to South Central?
No, you do what you want to do.
I'm going to go to South Central. I'm going to take one that I do not think, again, that I don't think you know of. I'm going to take Marathon, Texas as my
Ooh.
South Central pick.
Spelled like marathon?
Yes.
No, spell like marathon.
Just making sure.
Yes.
It's got 2
like,
N's and an E. It's French.
Marathon.
Yes.
Marathon.
You're right. I'm not familiar with Marathon, Texas.
Gateway to I looked at this region.
Is it Big Bend?
Gateway to Big Bend National Park, which is one of the most fantastic national parks in the country. Doesn't get the love it deserves.
Agreed.
There is incredible hiking, backpacking, paddling, road riding, good road riding in that area too. And especially, I'll say this for my son, big bird watcher, there's incredible birding down there in Big Bend as well. You get a taste of the Chihuahuan Desert, which is one of the 5 major American deserts and the ones that I think we explore the least, which is really cool. And I think it's also important to call out public lands in the state of Texas where there just aren't enough of them, especially when we're having a lot of talks about public lands right now.
Yeah.
Take away public lands, and I don't know what all these people from Texas who come to Colorado are going to do, because that's what they come here for. But great spot, doesn't get enough love. Marathon, Texas.
I love that. I love like a real left field choice there, but not really. If you live in the area, I think you'd know. Like that is a really special part of the country and very criminally underloved. So I'm sure even by Texans.
Just looking at our list, I think Shawnté's was the more corporation kind of driven, big cities. Like you're like the billionaire of the draft right here, Shawnté. Like it's like I got Des Moines, Doug's got Marathon. Like you're like I got Los Angeles.
you're gonna be over the luxury tax, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. As somebody who grew up, no, but seriously, for me, it's like as somebody who grew up in the inner city and had to figure out my connection to nature, I think about the outdoors in a different way maybe than you guys do. So I think a lot of those other, a lot of the like Jackson is for rich people. Sorry. It just is like,
I will
my mom's
say,
not going to Jackson, Wyoming.
Yeah, I will say the last time I was in the Jackson airport, it made me really hate being a white person. That is the whitest place I've ever been.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's basically opalescent at this point.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go, I'm going to do my Northeast pick. Northeast, again, it's kind of like Southeast, kind of, again, can be criminally underrated in terms of really interesting towns and access. And again, I lived there for a long time. So it was kind of, if I wasn't going to get North Conway was kind of a de facto choice because, it's like, that's the town. But also there's plenty of other ones. And so this one, I referenced it probably with you guys when we were prepping for this. I'm going to go with Burke, Vermont.
Oh, that's one.
Because that is the home of the Kingdom Trails.
Yeah. Good call.
Also skiing right there, but then easy access. The cool thing about Burke is you have the Kingdom Trails are amazing. Anybody listening to this, if you mountain bike, I don't care where you live or how good of trails you have ridden, you owe it to yourself to take a trip and ride the Kingdom Trails of Burke, Vermont. They're just perfectly constructed trails, incredible flow, plenty of climbing. It's a mountainous terrain, so don't look down your nose about like, oh, there's not going to be big hills there. There are plenty of big hills there, and it is a very special part of the Northeast Kingdom, up in Northeast Vermont. The other cool thing about that town, though, is there is skiing right there. You have Jay Peak, not that far away. And about an hour away, you can be in Burlington. So you can be on Lake Champlain. If you want to actually do water sports, about an hour to the east, you can be in Franconia Notch in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. So huge access while you're still in this incredibly just picturesque. Picture Vermont in your head, and you are picturing what Burke, Vermont looks like. And it is a wonderful spot. So I'm going to go with Burke so we can get the Kingdom Trails represented.
All right. I like that. Vermont is a lovely place. So I don't always think about Vermont. Like, I guess people probably think of Stowe as an outdoorsy town, but I like Burke. That's a good pick.
Yeah, great pick.
Vermont's sort of like the most western East Coast state, I feel like. You kind of feel like you're in like the West a little bit when you're there. No billboards. It's kind of just very rural looking and all about the outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Shawnté, two to go here. What do you got?
Well, I'm struggling here with my Northeast pick because you took it, Doug. And I've waffled a bit because now that you've berated me for my choices.
Oh,
that was me.
Well, here's the little waffling that's happening in my head, and I'll tell you why. So there's more of the classic outdoor experience would be something like Lake Placid. I think of, something in the Adirondacks.
That's a good one. I love Lake Placid.
Yeah, I mean, you can live out your dreams of being an Olympian there if you'd like. You've got great mountain access in the area for snow sports. You've got hiking, all sorts of things like that, biking, running, all that. But part of me really wants to go down to New York City and dispel people's notions that that's not an outdoor town. I mean,
I own it. Be the big city list. It's amazing.
I gotta do it.
You stole my wild
there.
card. You stole my wild card. Yeah. Good one.
I'm stealing it. Sorry, Doug.
Are you doing it?
You get. That's what you get for North Conway. I'm taking New York City. I used to live there, so I know firsthand what a great outdoor town it is. And you have to reframe how you think about outdoor towns. So if we're thinking, like I said, Lake Placid, that's a whole different vibe. But New York City has plenty of, you've got, first of all, let's just start with the obvious, Central Park. You've got Central Park. You got the Ramble in there if you want to feel like you're deep in and you're not in the middle of a city. You've got, like, I trail run in New York all the time. You've got, I forget what the park is that's out on Long Island or out. There's a big ass park. This is the technicality. It's a big ass park.
Big ass park.
BAP.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up really quick while I'm here, just so I don't sound like such a numbnuts. But you've got okay, here we go. Hang on. It's got like a cemetery in it and everything. It's down by, anyway, great park over by, not far from JFK Airport. Oh, here it is. What is it? Yeah, Forest Park. See, I love places called Forest Park, apparently.
Clearly.
But yeah, Forest Park. So you've got that where you've got good trail running and things like that. You also have a cemetery if you want, golfing. You've got I'm doing this all off the cuff, guys, but you've got, you can boulder right in Central Park. You can go out to surf on Long Island. You can go down to
New Jersey.
Got great parks. To the what? To Jersey?
The Jersey Shore. Don't forget the Jersey Shore. Come on.
Never forget the Jersey Shore, which is actually great, unlike what the
Homeland.
TV show makes it. You got Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge. You got like a whole, birds love this area. So if you're a bird watcher, this is a great place to go check out birds. And then, of course, if you want to get out of town just a little bit, hop on the train. And in a very short ride, you could just head up the Hudson. You got the Hudson in the East River, of course, sandwiched, or New York is sandwiched in between them. Although I don't know if I'd paddle either of them, at least not down by the city, but certainly not the Gowanus Canal. But yeah, you can hop on a train and go up to the Gunks or something like that, go climbing, so there's access to these things that are outside the city as well. And there's tons of, so you have outdoor shops, like non-big chain ones. So you have Outlandish in Brooklyn. You've got like trail running crews now in the city, which is wild to me. I love it. Like going back now, I'm always looking to plug into outdoor community, which is not something I thought existed in New York back in the day when I lived there. So it is an absolute delight to see that the city is embracing its connection to the outdoors and getting people outside. So New York,
the largest
that's my
single
pick.
door specialty shop in the country is...
What is the largest single door specialty shop in the country?
Yeah. Paragon, Union Square.
Oh my gosh. Good
Plus,
one.
there's amazing fish, like growing up there too, fishing. I've caught incredible fish right at the base of the Statue of Liberty, fly fishing for saltwater fish.
Freedom fish.
Yeah. I mean, the bike trail now is incredible in New York. The
The
Hudson,
High Line is
the
lovely.
Greenlee, the
Yeah.
High Line. Yeah.
Oh, the High Line.
Plus, if you count your steps, when my daughter was going to college in New York, you would go like, man, I walk far more steps in New York than I do in
So
Boulder.
true. It's so true. But I have another pick, and I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go a little more. I'll go a little more traditional mountain town for this one to close off my main picks here. And this is the Mountain West. So my pick is a town. This is one of those other towns that when I got to it, I immediately thought I shall make a life here. I can figure this out. I'm going to open a small bookstore, and that is Salida, Colorado.
Good pick.
Oh, God. I was hoping we'd just keep Colorado off the board.
Boo.
Sorry. I had to go with Salida.
Great
Thought
pick.
about Buena Vista, but honestly, Salida's a better town. Yeah, first of all, it's sandwiched between two mountain ranges. You've got the Sangre de Cristos, the Sawatch. You've got the Collegiate Peaks over, all these tons of 14ers just over to the west. The Colorado Trail. The smartest peaks, a little bougie. Over to the west, the Colorado Trail runs through over there. You've, of course, got the Arkansas River right through town. So tons of opportunity for paddle sports there. You've got Monarch Mountain Ski Resorts not too far away. And of course, if you want to drive a little further, Breck's like an hour and a half north, Vail's 2 hours west, Leadville's like an hour away if you want to, run or bike for a very long distance. Bouldering Buena Vista. There's not really a ton of climbing around Salida, but you can go into the mountains for that. You've got Black Canyon of the Gunnison, great sand dunes, 2 national parks not that far away. In fact, best al pastor tacos I ever had were in some tiny town really close to great sand dunes. I like Salida. And you've got public transportation that runs that corridor. You could take bus down from Denver, up from Durango, I think. And it's just, I love that part of the state. I love the collegiates. That's one of those places where I was like, I could settle down here. You've got, if you want in the winter, just go a little east and you can be in the high desert and warmer temps. So I don't know, Salida. I'm making a play for Salida. Great distillery in town.
I think we have a new podcast idea where it's going to be Shawnté talks about public transportation in mountain towns.
Yeah, it's so important.
It's a great call. No, Salida is an amazing pick. Maybe even up there for one of the very best mountain towns in the whole country, I think, when you add everything up. Yeah, really good call.
Thank you, Doug. That was very satisfying. I appreciate it. You hear that, Colin?
He's a homer.
He's Moab. He took Moab.
Moab.
Hey, Jackson. All right. You could have taken Salida. How dare you look down your nose at Moab?
All right, Colin, you have like 12 picks left, don't you?
Well, it's funny because my wild card and my Southwest pick are protected now. I feel like I don't think either of you would take my wild card, but so I'm going to save. I'm going to risk that you won't. Actually, you won't because it will be my turn again before it's your turn. So only Doug could take it, but I don't think he'll take it. My Southwest pick, I would not have picked this just 5 years ago. I would not have made this pick. I would have gone with a Bishop, California, or a Flagstaff. But no, I'm going with my current hometown of San Diego, California.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry. Partly I wanted to have one big city. I definitely wanted to have a big city because I think kind of like you say about New York and LA and everything else, it is important. And so many times, especially the outdoor community, that is immediately like, oh, how could you live in a big city? And it's like, no, the big city can have a lot of outdoor access. And the thing that has surprised me the most, and I probably said on the pod before, so if I'm a broken record, I'm sorry, about living in San Diego is it's marketed as a beach location, which is true. We have wonderful beaches and surfing, but this is a mountain town, man. There are so many mountains here and so many trails. We have the only specialty retailer in Southern California, Nomad Ventures. They are also up in Idlewild and some other places. Yep. The freaking PCT basically starts here, runs right by it. The eastern part of San Diego County, looking into Anza Borrego State Park, where the PCT runs, is incredible, where you have alpine, like 7,000 foot mountains. And then you can go all the way back down to the coast and get the best fish tacos in the country and have the sort of beautiful city and all the kind of stuff that comes with being in San Diego and the climate and whatnot. We have snow, all the stuff you mentioned about where you go skiing, very similar to what you can do here. I love San Diego, and I think it is really offers the best of what you would want from an outdoor community. So San Diego.
I love that. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Having spent a lot of time on the PCT down there, I love it. I find myself going back down there often. I'm like, oh, maybe I need some new photos for the next edition of the book. No, I mean, Julian Pie Company, come on.
Come on.
More
That's the best one,
more
too.
food. Yeah.
More food. It's really
Public
good.
transportation. Public transportation.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, you could take a bus right to Campo. I mean,
There
where
you
the
go.
PCT,
See,
and then you
Shawnté,
just
this
walk
pod
on
idea.
down
We're
to
doing
the
this.
southern terminus of the PCT. You can.
Pick your outdoor town, and Shawnté will tell you how to get
I'll
around.
tell you how to get there. I'm your human GPS lady.
The pie thing is legit, by the way, because my mom's apple pie growing up was my favorite thing for Thanksgiving and the holidays, and I learned how to make it. And then we went up to Julian. It was during the pandemic. We had to get out of the house. They were open, and we went to all the pie. And one day we went to all the pie shops in Julian. Julian known for their apples and their apple pie, and it's a very famous, like kind of the first like 0 day for a lot of PCT hikers.
Yep.
And the Julian apple pie, Julian Pie Company apple pie. I have not made an apple pie since. Anytime we went apple pie, I drive to Julian and I pick one up because it's that good. So
nice.
It does come back to food. All right, Doug, your final 2 picks.
My final 2 picks. Actually, my upper Midwest one is a pretty easy one for me, and I think it's one that doesn't get enough love. I think I've said that about a couple of picks, but a very good friend of ours, Stacy Bear, is very involved in this outdoor town, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And as you know, Stacy he's the executive director of Friends of Grand Rapids Parks. And this city has an amazing park system. There's more than 75 city parks and 46 county parks, 6 state parks, all in and around Grand Rapids, including one of the nation's largest urban parks, Millennium Park, right by downtown, 1,400 acres. And I know Stacy is busy getting volunteers out there. They put in 4,227 volunteer hours in 2024. They planted over 1,200 trees. They took care of the trails. It's a great spot. In Grand Rapids, there is in Highland Park, they have a bouldering wall set up. They've got people bouldering and climbing with like La Sportiva sponsoring it. You've got Lake Michigan right there. So you've got paddling, biking, fishing, all of that in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That was on my that was on the list for sure. I need to have a Michigan town, but
plus Michigan's a great outdoor,
it's gorgeous.
Big.
Plus, we were probably worried that Stacy was going to murder us if we didn't mention Michigan in this podcast.
We did it for you, Stacy.
All right, man. What's your wild card? What's your last
wild
pick?
card? I didn't really know what this category was about at first. I thought it was supposed to be silly. So my first thought was Minas Tirith, because you've got the mountains right there. You've got the great river for paddling. You want some adventure. You can go over to Mordor. But
Minas Tirith. Okay.
No,
do you have a U.S. one?
No, my serious pick would be my hometown of Boulder, Colorado. Obviously, I've lived here close to 25 years for a reason. The thing about Boulder, living in Boulder, you've got to have some sense of humor about it.
No.
But man, it's an amazing place. Right out my door, there's incredible hiking that goes all the way back into the top of the Flatirons. I can get to peaks, that look out on the plains, the Indian peaks, backpacking. We've got great mountain bike rides, Hall Ranch and Heil Ranch, right here.
Buffalo Creek, not too far away.
Buffalo Creek, the skiing, it's not close like Jackson or Bozeman or somewhere, but we've got skiing around. Eldora is a fantastic mountain that doesn't get the same crowds and the same traffic, though it is more popular now. Really, everything is in Boulder. Plus, went to a Nuggets game the other night. You can get to a great airport. You can fly all over the world. It's a great place to raise kids. It's a very progressive community working for, initiatives on climate change. Great place to live. There's a reason I've been here for so long. Do you have to have a sense of humor about Boulder too? As much as you like Boulder, you have to also be like Boulder.
You got to be in on the joke. Yeah.
For as much as I give shit to Boulder, it's like you can't. It's the original mountain town.
Yeah,
it was like the first one. You can't deny that, and it's incredibly important. To
climbing,
for sure.
Climbing out the door, incredible climbing community in Boulder is great. The trail running community in Boulder, I see everyone getting together, every night for their group trail runs, and then we've also got an incredible nucleus of outdoor stores with Arc'teryx, Nerona, Montbell. Outdoor Industry Association is based here, Sportiva,
Don't forget Neptune.
Scarpa. Of course, we have Neptune, one of the most famous outdoor stores of all time. Yeah, hard to leave Boulder out.
All right, for my wild card, I gotta stay in the Northwest because look, I learned I am a desert guy personally. I really enjoy being in the desert. I kind of feel like I'm living now, having lived in Utah and in Southern California. But like I said earlier, on paper, I think for just objective outdoor beauty, I don't think anything really beats the Northwest. So my wild card is Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, okay.
And I intentionally chose Tacoma because I lived down in the South Sound for a long time. And it was I have a memory burned in my brain. One of the first times I ever went stand-up paddleboarding out of Gig Harbor, which is the town I lived in, towards Point Defiance towards Tacoma. And it was a September day. The sun was out. Rainier is out in all its glory. This legitimately happened. A bald eagle's like swooping overhead as a porpoise like breached out of the water and like went back in, and there are seals around, and I'm like, where the fuck am I right now? Like I'm like, is this like a fantasy land that I'm in? It is outstandingly beautiful. So and I want to just throw a little South Sound love to my list. So it's Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, lovely.
I like it.
Well, I like it. I suppose, I'm the last pick.
This is it. Last pick of the draft.
Right. I got my wild card here, and I am going to go back to the upper Midwest, and I'm going to go back to the town that taught me that I was an outdoor person. So I grew up in Milwaukee, which is not the town I'm picking. Sorry to Milwaukee. Lake Michigan is great. The parks are great over there. But I went to a summer camp. We've talked about it before on the Rock Fight. Camp Wickham Mason. Shout out if we've got any more listeners. We did get some listener mail from somebody who was my camp counselor when I was a kid.
Oh,
Jessica
Pokey's here, everybody.
Schumacher. And then we got to work together when I became a kid. Yes, my camp name was Pokey. Don't ask me why. It's because I was slow. But so with that summer camp, which was in Heartland, Wisconsin, just outside, like 30 minutes outside of Milwaukee, when I was still a teen, I was like 16 or something, we went to Devil's Lake State Park, which is just outside of my pick, which is Madison, Wisconsin. So Devil's Lake State Park is gorgeous. It's got these bluffs. It's got the lake itself, tons of trees. It's where I learned to climb. That's my first place I ever climbed outdoors was there. First place I ever mountain biked was there. First time I ever camped in a tent was there. And, so Devil's Lake itself is a compelling enough reason for me to choose Madison. But I've lived in Madison, and it's one of those, I considered staying there for a while. You've got, Madison itself is an isthmus. That is a landform we don't get to talk about much in the world. Love an isthmus between two lakes. So Mendota and Monona. And it's a great, this in the summertime, like the University of Wisconsin-Madison is there. Go Badgers. You could rent boats and go paddle out on the lakes. People sit out and, have a beer. It's lovely. You've got tons of biking is a big deal in Southwest Wisconsin. Just cycling in general, not just mountain biking. You've got tons of paddling that happens out there. And it's super close to the Ice Age Trail, which is my personal huge trail bucket list item. I just haven't had the time yet. It's a really long trail. But the Ice Age Trail, which follows all of the great kettles and moraines, the Ice Age formations that the glaciers did across the state and the upper Midwest. You got skiing nearby. Of course, if you want to go up to Wisconsin Dells, you've got natural beauty there, not just all of the theme parks and kitsch that you have in the tourist towns, but it's actually gorgeous as you head up the rivers there. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to Madison. It was a great place to live. I thought about staying. I would absolutely go back.
That was actually my second pick. That was on my draft board. I had Duluth and Madison, and then I decided to kind of go a little weird with it. Since you took Duluth, I thought it might be there for my wild card, but I decided not to go for it. But now I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't cock block you on it and take it for my Midwest pick, if I'm being honest. Madison's amazing. Same with Baraboo, Wisconsin, baby. Devil's Lake State Park,
gorgeous.
Great spot. Yeah. Love Madison. I think we did it, guys. We drafted.
We did.
We'll run through. I mean, any other like honorable mentions? Anyone we didn't mention that we feel like we at least need to say their name? We did say I had so I actually was thinking for my wild card. I had Boston as another sort of big city. Annapolis, Maryland was one that I was thinking about including as a wild card. I think it's a great paddle location. There's other things around there as well. Santa Fe in the mountains, and then my other one that I really, really consider for the Southwest was Haleiwa in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous place.
So, any for you guys? Do you feel like we need to be mentioned?
Yeah, I almost picked Charleston, South Carolina as my wild card.
Yeah.
Another place I've lived, another place I got outside all the time.
I had Charleston on my list too. It's a great
No
spot.
way.
The beach is amazing. It's an incredible town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Well, here are the rosters as drafted by your players here on the Rock Fight. Shawnté's team. For the Northwest, we have Portland, Oregon, Southwest, Los Angeles, California, Mountain Communities. We have Salida, Colorado, Upper Midwest, Duluth, Minnesota. In the South Central, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Southeast, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Northeast, New York City. And her wild card was Madison, Wisconsin. How do you feel about your team?
I feel great about it. Strong showing. I think I've got the top picks.
Doug in the Northwest has Cleellum, Washington, Taos, New Mexico for the Southwest, Jackson, Wyoming for the mountain area, Grand Rapids, Michigan in the Upper Midwest, South Central Midwest, Marathon, Texas, Southeast Damascus, Virginia, North Conway, New Hampshire in the Northeast, and Boulder, Colorado as a wild card. Doug, how you feeling?
I like the lineup. I think we got some heavy hitters and some role players in there.
And then my team in the Northwest, Hood River, Oregon, Southwest San Diego, California, in the mountains, Moab, Utah, the Upper Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa, South Central Midwest, Bentonville, Arkansas, in the Southeast, Knoxville, Tennessee, Northeast, Burke, Vermont, and my wild card was Tacoma, Washington. We will put these teams up on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and maybe even try to run a poll on the Rock Fights website. And you can vote on who you think has the best roster of outdoor towns. First ever outdoor town draft. How did we do? Did we like this? Was it fun?
Loved
This is
it.
great. I feel like, what did you think, Colin? This is a big dream of yours.
I feel very, very satiated right now. I feel good.
You have like a gentle smile on your face. I love
I'm
it.
going to sleep so well tonight. All right, everybody, that's the show for today. Thank you for listening. We want your emails, especially about this episode. Send them to myrockfight@gmail.com. Who did we miss? How dare we miss the town that you would have selected? We want to hear from you. Send those emails to myrockfight@gmail.com. The Rock Fight's a production of Rock Fight LLC. For Shawnté Salabert and Doug Schnitzspahn, I'm Colin True. Thanks for listening. And here to take us out, someone from not an outdoor town. Is Gainesville, Florida, an outdoor town? That's where Les and Jake is
If you're
from.
an alligator.
So,
Yeah.
it's a party town.
He's gonna sing the Rock Fight song. We'll see you next time, Rock Fighters.
Rock fight.